Hello coders, I hope you are coding well. In the previous video, we created leave request entity, DTO and repository in our Spring Boot application, and in this video we will create apply leave method in our attendance service. So let's get started. So in our Spring Boot application, we need to open attendance service, and in this class we need to create a new method to apply a leave. So let's start creating a new method, and this method will return leave request TTO, and we will name this method as apply leave. And in this method we will accept leave request TTO, and we will name this as TTO. And after this, in the body of this method we need to get employee, manager and project. And to do this we will create one optional variable, and this will be of type user, and we will name this as optional employee. And after this we will use our user repository method, and we will call a method find by id, and in this we need to pass the employee id. And to do this we will use our DTO, and we will call a method get employee id. And after this we will create another optional variable, and this will be of type user again, and we will name this as optional manager. And after this we will again use user repository, and this time we will call a method find by project id and user role. And in this we need to pass the project id and manager user role. And to pass the project id we will use our DTO, and we will call a method get project id. And after this, to pass the role we will use user role enum, and we will import it from our enums package. And after this we will pass the value as manager. And after this we will create another optional variable, and this will be of type project. And after this we will name this as optional project. And then to set the value we will use project repository, and we will call a method find by id. And in this we need to pass the project id, and to do this we will use our DTO, and we will call a method get project id. And after this we need to check the availabilities of these variables, and to do this we will write if condition. And in this we will use our optional employee, and we will call a method is present. And after this we will use an operator, and then we will write optional manager, and we will call a method is present. And after this we will again use an operator, and this time we will use optional project variable, and then we will call a method is present. And if all of these are present, then only we will create new apply leave entity. And in the else case we need to throw an error, and to do this we will write else block. And in this else block we will throw a new entity not found exception, and in this exception we will throw the message as some related entity not found. And after this let's go back to if block, and in this if block now we need to create apply leave object, and then we need to set the data and save that in the DB. And to do this we will write leave request, and we will import it from our entities package, and we will name this as leave request. And after this we will initialize this with new leave request, and then we need to set the data. And first of all we need to set the date, and to do this we will use leave request, and we will call a method set date. And in this we need to pass the today's date, and to do this we will use local date, and we will call a method now. And after the date we need to set the employee, and to do this we will use leave request, and we will call a method set employee. And in this we will pass optional employee dot get. And after the employee we need to set the manager, and to do this we will write leave request, and we will call a method set manager. And in this we will pass optional manager dot get. And after the manager we need to set the project, and to do this we will write leave request, and we will call a method set project. And in this we will pass optional project dot get. And with this our data is completed. Now we need to save this in the repository, and to do this we will write return statement. And after this we need to use leave request repository, so we need to go to the top of this class, and we need to inject that repository. And to do this we will use @autovoid annotation, and then we will write private. And after this we will write leave request repository and we will import it from our repository package, and we will name this as leave request repository. And then we will go back to the method, and after the return we will use leave request repository and we will call save method, and in this we will pass leave request. And after this we need to convert the leave request entity to the DTO and return from this method. And to do this we will call get DTO method. And with this our apply leave method is completed in the attendance service. And that's it for today's video. In the next video we will create this find by project ID and user role method in the user repository. And after this we will create this get DTO method and we will complete this API call.